A Goldman Sachs survey released in 2025 found that roughly 40% of people earning more than $300,000 a year say they live paycheck to paycheck. Not 40% of minimum wage workers, 40% of people taking home $250,000 or more every single year. That number should stop you cold, because if a $300,000 salary isn't enough to escape this cycle, it means the cycle itself is the problem, not just the dollar amount on your paycheck. According to PNC Bank's most recent workplace financial survey, 67% of American workers say they're living paycheck to paycheck right now, up from 63% the year before. That's nearly 7 in 10 people across the country, people with jobs, people with regular income, running on empty by the end of the month. So if that's you right now, you're not failing at something other people have figured out. You're caught in the same trap most of the country is stuck in. The question is, how do you actually get out? That's what this video is going to show you. Not vague advice about cutting lattes, but the real reasons the cycle keeps repeating and a clear, usable system to break it for good. Why income alone won't save you. Here's the thing nobody wants to say out loud. Most people who get a raise don't get richer. They just get better at spending more. There's a name for this. It's called lifestyle inflation or lifestyle creep, and it is relentlessly quiet. It doesn't announce itself. It just shows up as a slightly nicer apartment after a promotion, a second car that made sense at the time, a gym membership, then a streaming service, then a meal kit subscription, and then 3 more subscriptions you barely use. Each one is small. Together, they swallow the raise whole. Bank of America's economists sum it up this way. For higher earners, you bought a house, you bought a couple of cars, and before you know it, all your money is going out to bills. There's no villain in that story, just a slow drift where luxuries start to feel like necessities, and your expenses grow exactly as fast as your income does, leaving you right back where you started. And this is happening across every income level. A 2024 study found that 36% of Americans earning over $100,000 a year live paycheck to paycheck. The pattern is consistent. Income goes up, spending rises to match it, and nothing changes. Meanwhile, the U.S. personal savings rate sat at just 3.8% of disposable income in December 2024, according to the Bureau of Economic Analysis. That's historically low, and it shows up in real life as almost no margin for anything unexpected. The fix, then, isn't just about earning more. It's about building a gap between what comes in and what goes out, on purpose, and then protecting that gap as your income grows. The invisible drain. Now let's talk about where the money actually goes, because most people genuinely don't know. The single most underestimated expense in almost any household's budget is food, specifically eating out. According to Bureau of Labor Statistics data, the average American household now spends close to $4,000 a year, or about $330 a month on restaurant meals alone. That's not groceries, that's restaurants and takeout only. And here's the number that really puts it in perspective. The USDA confirmed that in 2023, for the first time ever, Americans spent more of their food budget eating out than buying groceries. 55% of total food spending went to restaurants and takeout. That trend has held steady into 2024 and 2025. Think about what that looks like in practice. A quick breakfast on the way to work, lunch out with a coworker because you didn't pack anything, dinner from a delivery app because it was a long day and nobody wanted to cook. Each one feels reasonable in the moment. But a CNET survey found that American adults are spending an average of $2,841 a year on restaurant and takeout meals. That's almost $240 a month, and for a lot of households, it's significantly more than that. This isn't about guilt, it's about visibility. Most people, when they actually sit down and look at 3 months of bank statements, are shocked by what they find in the food and dining category. Not because they were being reckless, but because they were never watching. That's the first shift that has to happen. You have to know where the money is going before you can tell it where to go instead. The system that actually works. Here's a practical framework, not a single magic trick, but a connected system of moves that, taken together, genuinely changes how money moves through your life. Step 1. Start with a written, zero-based budget. Before the month begins, not after, write down every dollar you expect to earn and assign it somewhere specific: housing, utilities, groceries, gas, insurance, debt payments. Every category gets a number. When you've allocated every dollar, you have something that most people never have: a plan. And when you run your first real budget, you'll almost always feel like you've gotten a raise, because you'll find the places where money was quietly disappearing. A free app like EveryDollar makes this simple to do with a partner or spouse, but even a notebook works. The tool matters less than the habit of doing it before the month starts, every single month. Step 2, pay yourself first. Most people save whatever is left at the end of the month. The problem is there's rarely anything left, because spending expands to fill the available space. Flip the order. Before the bills get paid and before anything discretionary happens, move a set amount into savings, even if it's 5% or 10% of your income. Automate it if you can. That money is gone from your spending account the moment your paycheck lands. This one change shifts your identity around saving. Instead of hoping something is left over, you've already taken care of it. Step 3, build a starter emergency fund. This is what breaks the cycle at its root. Most people live paycheck to paycheck not because they're bad with money, but because any small emergency, a car repair, a medical bill, a missed shift, immediately becomes a financial crisis with no cushion to absorb it. A $1,000 emergency fund won't solve everything, but it stops the smallest surprises from unraveling the whole month. From there, work toward 1 to 3 months of essential expenses in a separate account you don't touch unless something genuinely goes wrong. This buffer is what changes the emotional experience of money. The panic around payday starts to ease when you're not one unexpected expense away from disaster. Quick pause here. If this video is landing for you, hitting subscribe takes about 2 seconds, and it means you'll catch the next one without having to search for it. Okay, back to it. Step 4. Hold the line against lifestyle creep. When a raise comes, when a side hustle starts picking up, when a big expense finally gets paid off, the instinct is to let spending rise with the extra breathing room. Resist it, at least long enough to redirect that freed up money somewhere intentional: a higher emergency fund, accelerated debt payoff, a retirement account. You don't have to live uncomfortably. The goal isn't deprivation. The goal is that your savings rate grows alongside your income, not just your expenses. Step 5, work on growing your income. There is a ceiling to how much you can cut, but income can grow indefinitely. In an environment where inflation has outpaced wages for lower and middle income households every month since January 2025, according to Bank of America's research, having only one income stream is riskier than it used to be. That might look like developing a new skill, picking up freelance work, or building something on the side. The specifics depend on your situation, but the concept is the same. Once your money habits are working for you, the most powerful lever left is increasing what comes in. The day your bank app finally tells a different story. Here's where all of this comes together. The paycheck to paycheck cycle isn't a character flaw, it's a system problem, and systems can be replaced. A written budget, an automated savings habit, and a small cash buffer are not complicated tools, but most people never put all three in place at the same time, and that's exactly why the cycle keeps going. The day you open your bank app and see that next month's bills are already covered by money you set aside last month, that's the day something actually changes. Not just in your account, but in how you carry yourself through the week. So tell me, which part of this feels most out of reach for you right now? Drop it in the comments, because the answer is probably simpler than you think. And if you haven't subscribed yet, now's a good time. There's a lot more like this coming.